Hello, welcome. My name is Shaina. I'm an astrologer, and today we are talking about the houses in astrology. We are, of course, starting off with the first house. Me. It has everything to do with me. Me. Well, not literally me. It means you. Well, not specifically you, just the general you. It's your identity, who you are upon first impression. Speaking of first impressions, I'm probably not making the best one right now, being so up close and personal. Okay, that's much better. Now, if you're insanely confused about what houses even are in astrology, then you've got some catching up to do, but don't worry. I already made a video all about it, and it's called How to Read Your Birth Chart. I'll link it in the card up here. Watch that, and then come back here to learn specifically what each of the 12 houses mean in astrology. Today, we will be taking a journey together and breaking down each of the houses. So we already kind of understand that the first house is you, your first impression, how you come across, how you interact with the world, the general impression you make upon first meeting people. Now, every house has a ruling sign. I also have a video up about the 12 zodiac signs. If you want to watch that, I will also link that in the cards. Now, the first house is ruled by the first sign of the zodiac, which is Aries. So this house has a lot of Aries-like qualities. The first house is also how you interact with the world and new situations around you, as well as the expectations your family placed upon you and how well or how so kind of poorly you lived up to those. It also has a lot to do with your physical exterior, how you physically look and how you kind of move your body and go about the world. This is your first layer of your personality. Sometimes it can be considered shallow, but it really just depends on what's in your first house. Sometimes people have a really deep, meaningful first house, and sometimes people's first house really is just scratching the surface of their personality. This is also called your rising sign or ascendant. I'm sure you've been asked the phrase, what's your sun, moon, and rising? Well, the rising sign is basically what's in your first house. Is that candle crooked? I feel like it's always crooked. It really drives me crazy. Hold on. I feel like no matter what I do, it's always crooked. It drives me crazy. Oh, you like my backdrop? Oh. Thank you. You know, I'm actually really attached to all the items back here. I'm really proud of it, and I put a lot of thought into it, honestly. Thank you for noticing. These are actually all of my second house things. My clothes, all my little items, all the little trinkets I own, all of that is stuff governed by the second house. Taurus rules the second house, and yes, you did notice that a lot of what I own has some occult symbolism in it. Now, actually, the second house not only rules your things in a very material way, but it also rules your values, your inner values. And this stuff represents a lot of my values. It also rules how possessive you are over your things, how well you treat them or how well you don't treat them. Sometimes it can even show how possessive you are over your partner. It can also tell you how you like to adorn yourself and the things around you. I love to read. That's obviously one of my second house values, but as you might be able to tell, I'm not really one for manual labor. And the second house tends to rule things like manual labor, as it is the first earth house, because it's ruled by Taurus, which is an earth sign. The earth houses tend to have to do with work in some way or another. Oh, yes, speaking of my favorite things that I own, actually, that's now reminding me I do need to take the dogs outside. They actually haven't been outside for a while. My little pups are my own community, my little third house. This is your community, your siblings, the little networks that live around you. It's the Gemini ruled house. Now listen, I may live in the middle of nowhere, but it's my middle of nowhere, okay? It's my third house. The third house has everything to do with lower schooling, as well as the neighborhood and neighbors that you grew up with or enjoy living around. That's why it also deals with the mind and your everyday mental functioning and routine, or lack thereof. It can rule your mental health in a more learning and functioning way. The third house is all about your immediate surroundings, your local environment, and your local laws, both written and unwritten. You know, the laws of the streets. The third house has a lot to do with if you're street smart or not. Now, let me take you on a little tour of my third house. Honestly, it's like 115 dry desert heat out here, and there's like nothing out here. I'm really remembering why I don't go out much. I think it's best if we head home. Welcome to my fourth house, my home, my desert oasis, my secret abode amongst the dirt. The fourth house is quite intuitively the house of the home, and it is of course ruled by the sign of Cancer. Come on in. The fourth house also represents who you are on a very private and personal level, literally behind closed doors. It's the you only you, your family, or your roommates know. It's also the you that when you come home and take off your literal or metaphorical bra and you get comfortable. Speaking of, that's better. The house of home also represents your family, the people you grew up with, how connected you are or aren't to your lineage, the things you inherited from your family lineage, whether that be literal or psychological traits, what your home life was like, what the energy was inside of your home, how you keep up your home, how often you are at home. Like, for example, if you're a homebody or not. It is truly the root of us, which makes sense because it is the root of your chart. This is also called the IC. It's the second angular house right after the first house. Angular houses are just basically the houses at the four angles of your chart. You're just gonna let Pixie get your popcorn like that. They just tend to be the most prominent houses that we interact with the most. Well, all right. As much as I hate to say it, I think that I've laid around and done nothing for long enough today. I guess it is time to move on to the fifth house. I do have videos to film. That's better. Speaking of the fifth house, did you know I've been posting pretty much daily onto my TikTok at shaina.emily. Fifth housers love to sell themselves. Actually, speaking of, I gotta film one right now. And that's why Cancer moons suck. I didn't see you there. Well, I guess you're getting an exclusive behind the scenes look at my fifth house. The fifth house is the house of creativity, and in turn, it is the house of everything you create. These videos are quite literally a representation of my fifth house, as well as any hobbies or activities that you do for fun. The fifth house also rules children because you quite literally create your children. Any interests you have, like the music that you listen to, the TV shows you watch, your fashion sense or lack thereof, any after school activities, kind of all of that stuff is ruled by the fifth house. Also, whether or not you were a favorite by the teacher in one of those activities, that can also be seen in the fifth house, okay? Even also if you were a favorite or not of your parents. It is truly the house of fun, the house of self-expression, the house of Leo. Aww. What fifth house memories are in here? Let's see. I love photo albums. Well, the fifth house deals with how bold or reserved we are. Whether or not we had high school sweethearts, got asked out on dates, what got asked out to prom, and kind of what our fun sexual escapades look like. Can't show you that one. Yes, the beginnings of relationships. That dreamy, dreamy period is very fifth house. You know, what they're like, even how slow or quick you are to jump into bed with someone, how you like to be wooed, everything basically dealing with the new starts of relationships. I could just sit here and look at these pictures for forever. Oh my god. Oh my god, I completely lost track of time. I've just been sitting and reminiscing and just getting lost in the fun that I didn't even realize all the stuff I still have to do. And oh my god, I'm really hungry too. I haven't even eaten today, and I have so many chores. I have this giant to-do list, and oh no. Oh no. You know what that means? That means that it's time for the dreaded
sixth house.
Why must all good things come to an end? Ugh. Ew, I really have to wash these blankets, don't I? I'll do that tomorrow, really. I'll do that tomorrow. Oh wait, no, the washer's broken. I need to make the appointment to fix the washer first. Oh no, speaking of appointments, I have my tax appointment tomorrow. Ugh, why? Ugh. Well, you know what? I'm so hungry that I think we're just gonna deal with that first. Let's go eat. Oh, thank God I'm starving. Oh, God, I didn't get any groceries. I completely forgot to go grocery shopping. I hate the 6th house. It truly is everything mundane and boring, but yet somehow required to just be a human being. The 6th house also rules jobs like being an administrator, being a personal assistant, as it's the second earth house, and my God, I really do feel like I could use one right now. And of course, Virgo rules the 6th house as it's everything mundane. You know, the exact opposite of the fun and good vibes of the 5th house. No, the 6th house always has to come looming over our shoulder, giving us endless anxiety of the never-ending to-do list of things that we need to get done. Speaking of, my kitchen is a mess. Oh my God, speaking of, I still haven't even paid the electric bill this month. Oh, speaking of, I have to feed the dogs, and oh my God, it's even been a while since they've been outside. I have to let them out. I feel like I'm drowning in responsibilities. Why? Why must we have a 6th house? Ugh. My head hurts now. God. Oh my gosh, all this anxiety and overwhelm, it's really made me feel sick. I think I need to go to the doctor or something. It makes sense that the 6th house also is the house of health, as, you know, our daily routine has a big impact on our health, and our health has a big impact on our daily routine. You know, if you're ever wondering the general state of your health, you can always just check out your 6th house, which is something that I think I need to do right now. I feel like I can't handle this alone, you know? I really feel like I just can't, I can't juggle this all by myself. I just need a little help, you know? A little support. Maybe even just a hug, you know? Just some love from someone. Oh, I got it. Oh, fiance!
Yes?
My 7th house, my love! I was just getting so overwhelmed by all the boring, mundane tasks of the 6th house. I know. I just needed a hug. Can we go sit down now? This is Clay. He's my 7th house, my partner, my fiance, my better half. Astrology even says he represents my shadow self. Now, the 7th house starts off the second half of the houses in astrology. It is always the exact opposite sign to the sign ruling your first house. That is where the saying, opposites attract, comes from. Now, astrology is much more complicated than that. Sometimes your chart is mine and there's a concentration of planets in your 7th house. So I'm looking for somebody that reflects me rather than opposes me, but it all just depends on the energies that are in your 7th house. Whatever's in there shows the qualities that you look for in a partner or a friend. How we interact with each other, how focused we are on each other, how much energy we put into our relationships, how good or bad we are at putting ourselves in the other person's shoes. And if all of that stuff sounds like Libra, it's because Libra rules the 7th house. Also, the 7th house represents the qualities that we struggle to see in ourselves, but we look for others to bring out for us. That's why it's said to represent our shadow self in spirituality. I'm sure you've heard the term shadow work before. Well, whatever energies are in your 7th house are actually the energies that you project onto everyone else but struggle to see in yourself, even though they are absolutely there. All right, welcome back, Pixie. Now, if it seems like an important house, it's because it is. It's the 3rd angular house after the 1st and the 4th. Hey, are you even paying attention? I'm trying to teach you something here and you're not even listening.
I'm trying to get this set of heads off a marketplace for my vet. I already got 1.6 rockers for it, and I got a cam. I got an intake, and I got my carburetor already built. I ordered the carb adapter for it, and I have a distributor in it, but I need a better set of heads so that way I can have the rest of everything match up to the motor that I built. Why aren't you paying attention to what I'm telling you? I tell you this stuff and you don't want to listen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't listening. I guess we're not really immune to projection either. I was just thinking about how this video's getting too long, and I don't know. I feel like I should probably split it up into 2 separate parts. So you stay here. I'll be back. All right, well, that is actually it for houses 1 through 6. I'll finish up with house 7 and go all the way through to house 12 in the next video. And actually, when that's up, you can watch it right here. I'll link it in the cards. Now, hopefully you're starting to grasp some more real-world examples of how the houses work in astrology, but if you're still having trouble putting it all together, I do sell birth chart readings on my website, shainaemily.com, and I can break it all down for you. I hope that you're enjoying this free Learn Astrology course. I'll link the whole playlist up in the cards if you want to watch more episodes, and I hope that when it's up, you'll check out the second half of this video. All right, thank you so much for watching. Bye!